In this episode, I will share a story of a man who is meeting his Filipina girlfriend for the first time after 7 years of online dating. I do not understand men who get into these relationships and talk aimlessly to women across the world for months, even years, as in this case, 7 years to someone. How do you, as a person, not want to be with the individual you are interested in? Personally, I must meet them within 1 month maximum. Why talk to someone if I have no plans on meeting them in the near future? To me, it's like window shopping. Why bother? Why put yourself through that torture? Do you not want to spend time with the individual you're speaking with? It makes no sense to me. One more thing is, what keeps the relationship, if that, going for 7 years? Nothing except money. These men are sending money to these women, and that is the reason. The way I see it, it's simple entertainment. They are paying for someone's company because they are such losers with nothing else to do in their lives. How do you dedicate 7 years to someone you have not met? It makes absolutely zero sense to me. Long distance relationships do not work, firstly. Also, what do you think she was doing for 7 years? Do you think she did not talk to any other man? Do you think she did not take in the D night after night from her local boyfriend or husband? Do you think other foreigners have not visited her annually or biannually every year? Yes, these are the truths you have to be okay and ready to accept, because there is no way that she waited for you for 7 years, because I'm sure you did since you are a simp. Any man waiting 7 years is pathetic. He says, "Hey, I'm going to Davao City to meet a virtual girlfriend for the first time in person. What should I be concerned about with terms of safety, particularly concerning crime and schemes against Westerners, given the Islamic extremists outside the city? Also, any other travel, culture advice or things to keep in mind is appreciated." It's very comical he mentions the Islamic extremists, since that tells you he does not know anything about Davao. He needs to worry about every Filipino, despite the religion. Even Catholics, they think they are good people. They are not. They use it as a way of covering their crimes. Both religions do different things. They use religion as an excuse to take advantage of you one way or another. SP says 7 years virtually is astonishing. Hats off to you. No, I do not want to say hats off to this man. It's a shame. He continues and says, Davao itself is quite safe, more so than many other Filipino cities, in part because there's more visible police and military in the city. Read what your country's Foreign Office Department says about Mindanao, and just for yourself. The security situation there is different depending on where you go. It's a huge island. If you judge it by the media, then it would seem like it's Somalia. That's not to say the risk isn't there in certain places, but there are more Western expat provincial Mindanao than any would expect, and most report no problems because they're integrated with the local communities. You've been with your partner for 7 years, so I should hope sometime during that period you will have gained some kind of understanding of cultural and familial expectations and the politics involved in that. If not, seek that out now, ahead of time. My advice is to bring a gift for both her mom and her dad if you intend to meet them. Maybe you've discussed money and your insistence on not giving it to her and her family. Many have had the same discussion and been burnt once they actually get in the country. Suddenly, there are ailments or problems with every auntie and cousin because suddenly you're the very visible foreigner boyfriend. No, I'm not saying every Filipino family is like that, but just be prepared for that possibility. That is something this person should consider. Actually, we should all consider. How do you spend 7 years speaking to someone, yet you come on expat Reddit groups and ask basic questions like safety? Makes no sense. What is she there for? Just to take your money? How come she is not the one guiding you through all this? This just shows you the level of desperation that some men have to go to the Philippines. New here says, just stay in Davao City. Wouldn't recommend venturing too far off the beaten path. Stay with her. If she says don't get out of her car, don't. Be kind and humble, and you will be fine. Enjoy the culture shock. I love my trip to Davao. Going back again later this year. Always drink bottled water wherever you go. Don't eat things with ice. Stay away from the water. As a foreigner, bottled water only. Let her buy things. You will be charged more being a foreigner. Tank top and shorts. It's hot in the Philippines. Shower twice a day in the morning and night. Cold water. Take Pepto-Bismol or something similar. Authentic Filipino food is high in fat. Mango Mandala says, first, she's too shy to meet, you get stirred up. Possible, but unlikely. More likely, you have spent 7 years building up a relationship with what you term a virtual girlfriend. You both have ideas and fantasies in your head that neither of you can live up to. The reality of the situation just does not match up with what you were hoping. You have a nice few weeks together, then it just kind of fades out after you leave. At this point, you just need to plow through, but you have spent 7 years to get to this situation. You are very invested in the long shot. And that is definitely a possibility. Spending 7 years with someone virtually means you must have kept her in hook somehow. Spending 7 years virtually with someone means that you must have sent money to her regularly. Not that you want to go there physically, she may not want to meet you because she has a husband or a boyfriend or simply is not interested in you romantically. She was only using you for your money. I recommend having backup options, although that may not be a possibility for you because it took you 7 years just to get one girl, potentially. That is one possibility. She will not show up. She will flake out. She will not meet you. So have that in the back of your mind and perhaps even plan for it. Look at some apartments or houses that you want to live in. Keep those things in mind in case you have to go to certain hotels and stay there during your trip, and always have a backup plan. Start speaking to someone else now in case this woman does not meet you after 7 years of having a virtual relationship. Particular Dan says, wish you the best in your journey. 7 years? So you mind sharing ages? Does she have kids, married, separated? Please be prepared for paying for everything and everyone that shows up for dinner. Will you ask her parents to date her exclusively? Filipino families are very traditional. Is she the eldest? If so, it's her responsibility to assist family and family members with expenses. When are you flying? Davao City is nothing to worry about during the day. Don't walk to 7-Eleven at night by yourself. While touring the area, don't get past Tagum or east of their heavy Muslim area. One of the biggest myths in the Philippines is that Filipinos are traditional. Define tradition. There's nothing traditional about Filipinos or their families. They simply want money, and they use this excuse to extract it from you. They say they are traditional and need to support their family. That is true, but what tradition are they following? No, they're not traditional family-oriented people. They're simply leeches, and they're crabs, and they're all lazy. Yes, I said all, because the ones that are not will never meet a man after 7 years of waiting for him. Obviously, this person is even more desperate than you are. Therefore, be ready to dish out the money on a regular basis. Time for our catfish of the day. Remember, the catfish is simply the difference between the two photos, not saying that the first one is necessarily attractive. How do you go from this to this? The best comment about yesterday's video is from Steven Connors. I like your channel. It's a trip down memory lane. I've said this on a few of your vids already, but I was stationed at Subic Bay 8384. I was married, a college-educated Pinay for 10.5 years. I am now 67 and get nostalgic for the good times I had in the Philippines, as well as being married. Like most people, I guess, tend to forget about the bad times and mostly remember the good ones over time. Listening to your videos makes me remember that time I had pulled my hair out of my head to get the simplest thing done in the Philippines. Nothing was so simple that the locals couldn't fuck it up, or at least make it unnecessarily difficult. My marriage was like that too. Sometimes I felt like I was making more headway talking to the dog. At least a dog would wag its tail when I spoke. Thank you for talking me out of going back to the Philippines. When I was there, I had the benefit of the US government preventing me from being abused too badly. If the locals behaved too badly, the base CO always had the option of forbidding the active duty and their dependents from leaving the base. The potential of such an economic shock helped keep the locals in line. I use the term culture logic when describing the Philippines. The backwards and half-assed way of doing things obviously makes sense to them from their cultural point of view, although it drives Westerners nuts. As has been pointed out numerous times, they don't change. Western logic is foreign to them. They have their own logic. Again, thank you for causing me to reconsider. You bring back many painful memories of dealing with Filipinos, especially in-laws. Yes, at 67, you want to relax. You want peace of mind. You want to be happy, and you don't have the energy or the patience or the necessity to deal with this nonsense in this country. Believe me when I tell you, you are better off visiting a different country. You will be much happier. You will not go through the same nonsense, as nothing has changed in the Philippines regarding its culture. There is no worst comment from yesterday. Subscribe to the channel to spread the truth and the facts about this country and to please the YouTube overlords. Click like button, share button, subscribe. Also, use super thanks, super stickers, super chats. Send me money. Thanks for watching. God bless.